Mariners lose 3-2. They drop the final game of the 3-game series against Baltimore. They lose the series to Baltimore 2-1. They fall to 2-4 on this road trip that completes the road trip, and they're 37-39 on the season. Talk about how it happened. Cal Raleigh absolutely blisters a home run to right to make it 2-0 with a Eugenio Suarez on base. Anthony Santander returns the favor, so to speak, with a 2-run homer in the bottom of the third that ties the game at 2. And in the fifth, Jose Caballero does a bad thing. Ben Boom reaches on an infield single. Caballero makes an error. It allows the run to score to make it 3-2. Absolutely nothing happens in between in terms of runs. Game over. Some positives. Raleigh crushed that ball. Power's been there lately. 11th homer of the season. 33 RBI, which has more to do with the fact that not a lot of people getting on ahead of him. Julio should have had a homer. Santander makes a fantastic play. Should have known. By the way, it's worth pointing out, I missed this game live. I watched the replay. Why? Because I had to. I knew the score. I saw how many hits they had. Yet, I still watched the game. Can't say I'm not dedicated, folks. Can't say I'm not dedicated. But yeah, Julio does have what should have been a homer take away from him. It's nice to see him driving the baseball, even if the results aren't necessarily where we want them to be. Of course, they're not where they want them to be. I thought George Kirby was okay. I don't think he was great. Really just the homer, though. That should have been it in terms of runs. You know, battled through a lot of strikes. 72 of 98 pitches for strikes is what you're looking for. Just the one walk. You know, you don't see Kirby issue too many walks. It's crazy that he already has 13 decisions. Like, we could be looking at a year where, again, win-loss, terrible determination of whether a pitcher is doing well or poorly. But you could be looking at a guy who has like 15 wins, 15 losses type of year. Matt Brash was solid. Gabe Spire was solid. Bullpen does its usual job. One of these days, I will remember to put my phone on Do Not Disturb. Lots of negatives. The whole negative is just the offense was pathetic. It was a pathetic offensive performance. One hit after the second inning. One hit after the second inning against Kyle bleeping Bradish. Now, is Kyle Bradish a bad pitcher? No. Is Kyle Bradish somebody that should be giving up 2 hits over 7 innings? No. No, this shouldn't be happening. And yet it keeps happening. You know, it was nice to see that 23-run outburst of between those 2 games. But if you take away that, the offense was so unbelievably pathetic over 4 of these 6 games. Pathetic. And it's not just one guy. It's everybody. Everybody in this homestand or on this road trip was bad for the most part. Brutal effort. Crawford was bad. Julio outside of that, the almost homer, bad. Ty France outside of a single that broke up 7 innings of no-hit baseball or whatever the heck it was, bad. Kelnick struggles, does draw a walk. I don't care. Got to start driving the baseball again, Jared. You have to start driving the baseball again. Glad you're using the whole field. Approach has been solid. You have to start driving the baseball again. Eugenio Suarez, you have to start driving the baseball, period. Big dumper, homer, 2 bad at bats after that. Mike Ford, thanks for yesterday. AJ Pollock, once again, worthless in his pinch hit appearance. Jose Caballero, bad offensive game, and also a really bad defensive play. And there you have it, folks. A 2-4 road trip. And once again, when this team is not playing the doldrums, the absolute bottom feeders of baseball, this team looks terrible. At least results-wise. Like, I actually think they played pretty darn well yesterday. We talked about that. Today wasn't good. Today wasn't good. No. Pitching was fine. Offense was pathetic. I'm willing to give people credit against the Mariners. You guys have probably heard me say it a bunch. We are going to credit other people. It wasn't Kyle Bradish being great today. It was the Mariners stunk. All due respect to Bradish, who is a solid back-end starter. But I'm tired of the Mariners making back-end starters look like aces. This keeps happening. I'm tired of it. 37-39 for a team that I really thought and was sold on. And, I'm just a bunch of blame, I guess. I don't know where you side on that type of thing, but really thought this was a World Series contender. Really did. And if you didn't, good for you. Please don't leave "I told you so" in the comments, because I'm just going to ignore it. I appreciate you watching. There's no point in "I told you so." In fact, there's no point in "I told you so" too, because there's just too much time. There's too much time. But all I can do is judge this baseball team from what I'm watching right now, right? And right now it looks bad. And if you take away 10 wins against Colorado and AA Midland, 10-0 against those teams, what are you at now? Let's take a look. If you take away that, you are 27-39. Yuck. Absolute yuck. But I bring you good news. For you see, the Mariners get to play one of the worst teams in baseball for 3 games in a row starting Monday in those Washington Nationals. I almost called them the Capitals. I think the Capitals might be just as good a baseball team as the Nationals. They're terrible, and you better do some flipping damage this series, Seattle Mariners. You better do some damage. Especially knowing that right after that, you get Tampa Bay, good. San Francisco playing as well as anybody. Houston, That's what you got. And the last 7 of those are on the road, where you have just been an awful baseball team. Awful. When's the last time the Mariners won a road series? It was probably Oakland, right? You split against San Diego. You got swept against Texas. You lost a series against Atlanta. You lost a series against Detroit. That was a month and a half ago. Gross. You got to start playing better on the road. You have to start looking more competent against good teams. For my sanity. Just pathetic offensive performance today against Kyle Bradish. What do you say? I've got to do this. I've got to do this 86 more times. And I'm already at, what do you say? I've been at, what do you say, for a couple weeks now. But appreciate you guys checking these videos out. And I appreciate some nice comments that I've gotten as of late. It's meant a lot. I'm glad you people are digging this. Got told by a lot of people this was a great idea. I got told by a lot of people this is a terrible idea. So far, it's been fun. It's not like look, it's not like these are a whole heck of a lot of work either. Just being honest with you. They take time. I have to take 20 minutes or 15 to 20 minutes or whatever to hit record and then upload, but I don't edit them. I don't do any type of fancy artwork or anything like that. I'd like to get to that point. If we start When we get into the monetization of this, and I think we will in the next couple of months, then yeah, I'd love to have some fancy graphics, not like fancy edits or star swipes or something like that, but I'd love to have like a beginning graphic and an end graphic telling you all this good stuff, but not there yet. Anyway, long story short, outside of having to record it and then upload it, which, takes some time because my internet's not great. And, it just takes time. Usually takes about 15 minutes for these to upload. So it's not like these take a ton of time. They are, especially on games like today or the game where I yelled at umpires for what seemed like 6 hours. Those ones are tough on the old noggin. But I'm having a blast. And I'm going to keep doing this. And I plan on doing this for multiple seasons. If maybe forever. Maybe forever. Because I really believe in this. I do. And I'm so glad that so many of you have enjoyed them so far. Hopefully they've brought some catharsis for you. And hopefully also, you maybe learn something here and there. But I am mostly doing this for entertainment. Tomorrow, we've got Luis Castillo against Trevor Williams. Advantage Mariners for sure. Advantage Mariners for all three of these next matchups. Now, then you get Tampa Bay, and we'll get into that, but advantage not Mariners for those games. But yeah, this should be a series that you should sweep. It's tough to call for a sweep. It really is. But I think this is a series you should sweep. And at the very least, take 2 of 3. Oh, my goodness gracious. If we're talking about a series loss to the Washington flippin' Nationals, I'm going to be apoplectic. It's not early anymore, folks. Or at least it's not early enough to accept series losses to the Nationals. It's very hard to even accept series losses to a very good Baltimore Orioles team. Who, by the way, real quick, made me madder than, to quote my friend Chris Royal, madder than a wet hen. Because they said there's a new King Felix. Don't go there. Don't go there. Don't do it. Don't you do it. You're not good enough for that. And we don't forget. Well, yes, we do. But we don't forgive. I don't forgive. You leave my boy Felix out of this. You heard me? Maybe if you didn't have the ugliest City Connect uniforms and it's far inferior seafood, as I said on Twitter, I could accept it. Bet you do. Gosh, those City Connect uniforms are just unbelievably boring and ugly. That's a bad combination. For a state that just absolutely loves showing off that ugly flag, to have those, and I know you've got the little piping with it or whatever, yada, yada, yada. Yuck. But it wasn't as ugly as the Mariners offense today. Outside of that big dumper homer, it was as bad offensive effort as I've seen from them this year, and that is saying something. Follow me on Twitter at Crawford_MILB. Check out the RotoWire Fantasy Baseball podcast. Check out the Sports Sometimes podcast. I'm going to have my buddy Grant Brisby on the show on Thursday, and I cannot wait to see what topic he picks out because he is a weirdo, not a great human being, but he's okay. He's actually one of the nicest people I've ever met, but he's also someone who has a wide range of tastes. So I'm excited to see what topic he picks for that one. I'd really appreciate you checking that out. Love to find a way to monetize that and this. Because, yeah, it would be nice. Bummer. How bummed are you? How disappointed are you by all of this? We're almost halfway through the season, folks. which if you're a glass half full guy or glass half full human being, you say, hey, a lot of baseball left to be played. And if you're a glass half empty person, you say, yep. What the heck tells you that the second half is going to be so much better? I don't know. Bummer.